Hi, this is Linda and Aaron with Traveling Flamingo, and there's a lot to take into consideration when you're booking a Disney trip. So we've put together our best top 10 tips for people visiting Disney for the first time. Let us know if you have any other suggestions of possible tips that maybe you think we should have included. All that and more coming right up.
We've made our fair share of Disney fails. We definitely have. We wanted to make sure that you won't make the same mistakes we did. Our first tip is about dining reservations. There's so many wonderful and unique dining experiences in Disney, and if there are restaurants you really want to try, then we highly recommend booking those dining reservations. Currently, you can make advanced dining reservations up to 60 days before your trip, but keep checking as this can change, especially with COVID. If you aren't able to get that favorite restaurant right away, keep checking back. Sometimes a lot of things will open up, like, we've had it many times where we've tried to have a reservation and it's just opened up for us, especially 24 hours in advance. We like to make dining reservations for our park days and get an AC break. It's always really hot. We usually go in the summertime. We reserve for a late lunch or an early dinner for a break from the heat. Especially at Animal Kingdom. That is a notoriously hot park. We have lots of dining reviews, so be sure to check out our channel for a whole bunch that you can look at.
Our tip number 2 is for fast passes. Right now, they're not offering fast passes, but we really think that they will be coming back.
Yeah.
This allows you to pre-book a 1-hour time slot for up to 3 rides. This can be a huge time saver for rides with longer waits, and then you can also ensure that you can get on that favorite ride. And then once you've used all 3 of your passes, you're able to book 1 more at a time. And thinking of rides, another pro tip is that you can look ahead to see when rides are going to be refurbished so you know beforehand. We don't really have a very flexible schedule for when we travel, so it doesn't stop us from going, but at least we know ahead of time to avoid disappointment. And we do have friends who did change their schedule because they really wanted to get on Space Mountain and it was going to be down when they were originally looking to go. So you can check that out as well.
And it's really important when you have family members who really want to see something, especially if they've not been to Disney in a while, like, the flight of the Avatar ride, Flight of Passage, or, many of the other rides that they've launched, like the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, as well as Tron. So if you're interested in any of those, you'll want to make sure you know when they're down. Our third tip is to arrive early. If you're a thrill seeker like us and you want to enjoy as many rides as possible, we highly recommend arriving early. This gives you a great chance to get on a few rides before the lines get really long. If you want to be there before rope drop, you should aim to be at the park about 30 to 60 minutes early. That could be very early for you, but it's important to do that. This gives you time for parking, security, and to walk up before you go and have a chat with your group and decide which rides you want to go on first. You might want to pick an area or have a route planned. Yes, this is for hardcore fans. Also, in the Magic Kingdom, 5 minutes before rope drop, there is an opening ceremony called the Let the Magic Begin in the front of Cinderella's castle. You will need to decide if you want to be closer to the land where you want to go for your ride, or if you want to watch the show. Personally, we always say watch the show, but if you're just there for one day, then go to those rides you love.
Yeah, we do like to make sure that everyone's sort of in agreement on where we're going or how we're getting there, or if there's a certain area we want to be starting in and hitting up a couple rides.
It's a gigantic property, so do be aware. Yeah, it's big, and you will be walking, and that will be a tip later on.
Yes. Our next tip is to take some time and research the Disney resorts. There's value, moderate, and deluxe resorts. You may also want to consider which parks you're going to be spending the most time at and if you plan on going back and forth to the resort during the day. For example, if you know that you want to be spending most of your time at Hollywood Studios, then we would recommend Boardwalk or Caribbean Beach. Well, or have a look around. There's other options, but they would be good. There's also really good neighborhood hotels or neighbor hotels that are near the Disney property that offer some of the same perks that Disney hotels have. And if you're watching this video, then we already know that you're doing your research. And we do have some Disney resort videos that you may want to check out, like the Boardwalk, Contemporary, and more. Also, quick tip, You don't have to be staying at the resort to dine there. So if you wanted to be doing the luau at the Polynesian, you can just book it on the Disney Experience app and take transportation over there.
And if you do decide to stay at the boardwalk, let us know if the sofa in the room looks like your grandmother's sofa, because we personally believe that it does. It definitely needs a little bit of a revamp. I'm glad they got rid of the clown. There was a scary clown that used to be there, but they got rid of that at the pool. Yeah. We'll show you a picture, I'm sure, but that's gone now. So at least that's a positive. Our 5th tip is the Photopass. You're going to see a lot of photographers throughout the parks. They're part of the Photopass service, and anyone can have their photos taken, and it'll link directly to your My Disney Experience app. It's nice how all the pictures from rides are in one place, and you can load them into your app and purchase what you'd like. When you're having your pictures taken, you can also ask if they have any additional Photopass magic. That photographer will ask you to stand in a certain position and tell you to make a certain pose, and a little magic will appear once you see it in your My Disney app. If you already know that you want to buy pictures, you can look at purchasing the Memory Maker in advance, getting all of those pictures that you can purchase within one cost. At the end of the day, we always enjoy looking back at our photos and having a laugh at all the different photos that we've had of ourselves.
Yes, eventually when you've got enough, you know where the cameras are on the rides, and people can get pretty silly and have some fun with that.
Linda's lock screen is actually a Photopass photo on her iPhone, so we definitely enjoy watching them, and there's a lot of great photos that they take. They're very skilled photographers, and there's also the new zoom photos. I forget what they're called, but you can take a photo of yourself and they zoom out to the entire park, and it's really cool to see. So that's definitely another great option that they have now in the Photopass, and they keep making it better. And if you do have an annual pass, Photopass is included.
Our next tip is to be ready for the Florida weather.
Yes.
It can be unpredictable. Actually, Florida weather can be predictably unpredictable. We can be at a park, and in one park, and it's pouring, and our friends can be back at the resort, and they can be having sun at the pool. So we do like to put an umbrella and a few cheap ponchos in our bag so we're ready for the rain and it won't have to slow us down. You also want to make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes, the most comfortable shoes and clothes you have. It's easy to be walking up to 20,000 steps in a day, and you want to be kind to your body and your feet, and you don't want your shoes to be getting in the way of any of the magic.
Yeah, we have many times where the shoe choice that you decide on is so important. And if you are comfortable walking a long time in sandals, then more power to you, go and do that. But do be aware of whatever shoe you can walk the furthest in, that's the shoe you want at Disney. Our 7th tip is around COVID requirements. Being COVID cautious is a good thing that helps you be prepared. Before you go, make sure you check at the current COVID protocols because they're always changing. Right now, when you're visiting Disney, you do need to wear a mask. We also recommend bringing lots of extra ones so you can change them out during the day when you get splashed in Splash Mountain. So you don't have, so you get into the habit of making sure that you have a few whenever they're lost or you misplace them, because you definitely will. They're very tiny. They will blow away. They will get wet, and you definitely want another mask. Currently with COVID as well, you will have to make park reservations. So do ensure that you make those reservations in advance of your trip. Also, you can check the availability on Disney's website. And once you have made a park reservation, you can then park hop after 2 p.m.
Our next tip is to make a plan. We always like to make a plan before we go. We set a little schedule with our days, and it helps ensure that everybody's on the same page, and we can make sure that if there's something someone really wants to do, we do get it booked in. For example, on our last trip, my sister really wanted to be spending lots of time at Hollywood Studios and Toy Story Land, so we made sure that we had a solid chunk of a day for that. There's also so much to see and do. It's okay and impossible. You're not going to be able to do it all. So make sure you pick your top favorite. What do you really want to do on that trip? And just enjoy them. When we make a plan, like when we make our plans, we like to decide which parks on which days, trying to match up the dining to the park so we're not spending too long in transportation, seeing if magic hours fit. Those are just sort of some of the things we like to take into consideration. Another great tip for first-time travelers is to have a look at the maps before you go. This will help you have an idea of how the park is laid out, where the attractions are, the shops, if there are any shows going on. Just a good little tip to have in mind.
It's a big amount of space. I think it's about the size of Manhattan. So, you're definitely going to have transit time, and you really need to remember that, because going from point A to point B is not as quick as you might think it is. It's very, very large, and you should be prepared for that. Our 9th tip is to help you save a little bit of money. Disney can be very expensive, and one easy way to keep the prices down is to bring your own water bottle and some snacks. Don't get me wrong, we love and enjoy the Mickey-shaped food that we get to have when we're together, but we also like to bring back our own snacks at the end of the day. It can be very long, and no one wants to see Linda hangry. That is definitely not a good thing. We actually call it langry, which is Linda hangry. We like to bring a bottle of water with a filter, as we're not really used to the taste of Orlando water, and if you're not from Orlando, then you might not understand that, but there's a very distinct flavor to Orlando water. You can also get free iced water at quick service restaurants. Either way, be sure to stay hydrated. I have definitely had at least one rough day that has been a big mistake. And I also had another one at Alani where I was very dehydrated, and it was actually the end of our honeymoon, and I was not very healthy. I was very sick.
Yes, have lots of water, stay hydrated. And yeah, super important. And that sort of leads us into our last one. And our final tip is to pace yourself. There's so much to see and do. There's 4 parks, 2 water parks, golf courses, Disney Springs, and all the resorts. There's a lot going on. You want to make sure you take the time to enjoy the moment, enjoy the magic, and it's okay if your plans change.
Absolutely. There is so much. We've been there at least 30 times, and we've not seen it all either. So, if this is your first trip or your 5th trip and you've not seen everything, that's fine. Don't try to jam it full, because you're just going to make yourself unhappy. So pick the things you really want to do and enjoy it.
Yes, let us know in the comments below. Do you have any other tips that you would have for people, especially if it's their first time going, that they should know? Thanks to everybody for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. We really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and happy travels.